Hello. Hey guys. Hello.
Hi,
Hello. Hey.
Hello,
Ellie.
hello, hello.
Howdy. Hey guys.
Hello.
Ladies, gentlemen. Oh, multiple ladies. Wonderful. Eh, good. Okay. We're this is it's great to see you all because it's New Year's Eve. So this is one it's a special meeting. It's great. Um we're missing it. With that said, we're probably missing just a couple of people. There were any number of individuals that had sent regrets or just sent word that they were out, they weren't available. I'm going to take note of a couple of those folks. Um, and while I do that, if you would add your name to the meeting minutes, even if you don't have a last name, you can still add your name to the meeting minutes. Or if you're missing a middle name as well, that's fine. Go ahead and add your name. Uh, and just after that, we will officially get started. So, oh, very good. Does anybody know how to spell Rajesh's last name? I think it's not a, not a, I think it's not a Russian.
Yeah,
Nagarjuna.
Oh,
it's an R, not T.
R, not a T, not a, or Nara.
I think it's JN.
Na,
Yeah.
Nagaranjan. Nagaranjan.
You have to spell that, Parthiv.
Nagaranjan.
Holy.
Nagara. Nagarajan. It's really hard.
Wow. Okay.
Let me actually share it in the
Oh, okay. Okay. This is not it. Okay. Good. Good. I thought it was like, uh, that's a tongue twister. All right. Good. Whoa.
I have shared it in the chat.
Oh, thanks. Okay. Super important that we get this, included in the meeting minutes. I mean, we can't start the meeting unless oh, Nagarajan. Okay. Naga. Excellent. All right. Anybody ever try to type and think at the same time? It's like really difficult to type and talk at the same time anyway. So we're off to a slow start, but good. Thanks to everybody for getting your names in. As promised at year end, which I think we're right at the end of the year. We're going to do that raffle. So I've been saying it all year. If you put your name into the attendees list, we're going to pull your name out of the hat, do a raffle, and I just can't find my raffle bucket is the problem. I just don't know where it is. Is the Okay. Anyway, hey, good. Let's start the meeting. So this is the Meshery Dev meeting, the last one of 2025. Wow, man, we should really have a 2025 recap. And oh my goodness, we said we would talk about what's ahead for 2026. We itemized what some of those topics might be last time. So, okay, I'm just remembering. Some of us didn't do their homework. Oops. Uh, And yeah, we record the meetings and they're on YouTube, so you can catch up with them later. Please do keep the swear words to a minimum, or if you must use them towards yourself. So be polite to the other folks. Um, and if you have any topics, which could be just a question, could be a suggestion, it could be any number of things, don't hesitate to drop that topic down below. And I think we might just get through all the topics today. I think that should be great. Okay, good. Did everyone get their name up here? Hussein is with us. Yash, Parthiv, Abid, Himani. Oh, Mr. Dua. Oh, man, it's just there's too many syllables. Oh, it's too easy to slaughter. All right, so Charan is with us. Good. And Ranak and Shrikant and Prachi and Suhani and good. If you don't have your name up there, please drop it in. And yeah, somebody should hold me accountable for that raffle I kept making a joke about. We should probably actually do something. And now that we have these little AI bots running around everywhere, maybe it could help us tally up the count, and then maybe we could do something about that. So seems appropriate. Okay. Does anybody have an announcement or uh, something to bring up before we dig into our individual topics?
Advance Happy New Year.
And you perfect. That's it. That, right. Where are those emojis when you need them? Man, we need a whole bunch of them right over here, right over there, a little bit down there. Yeah, Happy New Year. Okay. All right. Oh, wait, we'll dig into our first topic, and we've got Parthiv has got our first topic of the last meeting of the year. So, Parthiv, do you want to tell us what this is all about?
Surely. So like, hey everyone, happy New Year to all. So let's get let's get to my topic. So like, I want to introduce about the Meshery CTL to everyone. So Meshery CTL is the CLI client for our REST APIs which are running in Meshery server. So in Meshery CTL, we need to use we are using logras in many files to actually log the errors and the info, but we don't need to do that. We actually need to shift to the log from the mesh tip. So let me show some. So like this is the file from which the Meshery CTL utils and helpers to go. So from this file, we are actually exporting the logger function. So this is the logger.handle, and this is the log error.logger.handle. We used to use these functions throughout the Meshery CTL repo to use to log. And in many files, we are actually using logres. Let me show. Like here, we are importing logres and then using it in some files. But as I said, we need to shift to log.error, the log function exported from the utils file. So here are some examples. Let me show in the like here we are using utils.log error dot error, and so basically we need more from we need your help to basically migrate the logras library not migrate, to replace the logras library with the log function from the mesh kit. So basically we need more volunteers for this, and so basically you can all create an issue for that and then submit the submit a PR to change this log where the I mean the particular instances of logres to the utils.logger function. So that's what is the first, I guess.
Great. Great. Okay. Hey, did anyone not quite get what Parthiv just said? Or did anyone? Okay, so a couple of us might not have grokked it immediately. Did anyone? And so it's worth repeating, just because we do need help in this area, and it's not the most complex and most confusing area. So in other words, it is a little easier to get started in this particular in Meshery CLI and on this particular topic. So it's worth spending just another moment on. So there's a couple of us that didn't entirely get what was said. Are there any of us that do have a sense of what was just said and can offer a regurgitation of that for everyone else so that we can hear it from a different perspective? Kind of understand. Man, this whole communication thing and like humans and stuff, this is the hard part. The easier part is just like maybe writing the code. Anyway, so hey, does anybody want to give a crack at sort of re-articulating what this particular call for help is?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, great.
Yeah, so like this one is a pretty kind of straightforward task. So in Meshery or even in Mesh in any place, we want to use our own logging library. So like in any place in code, you have to log to debug to show the information to users. So there are like different libraries to do that. So we have kind of centralized it inside Meshkit. So inside Meshkit, we have a logger we call it Meshkit logger. So it's just an instance of a logger there, and under the hood it uses loggers. So there's nothing bad with loggers. We just want to use a central config because it's configured in a particular manner. We want to show the logs to users. So the ask is to basically use logger from Meshkit rather than creating your own loggers using loggers, or sometimes we might just have used like fmt.println or any other way to log it to the send out. So we just need to use the logger from Meshkit. So it's just an import. So like Meshkit/logger is where the logging library is. So this particular task asks for like replacing it completely inside the Meshery. So Meshery is a sub project inside Meshery. So it's inside the same repo as Meshery. So Meshery/Meshery. So kind of just go there and maybe make a like search for loggers, and wherever it's used, just replace it with the Meshkit logger. So one of the issues that you might find is like because you need to initiate the logger. So it's like how Parthiv shows, like it's already attached to the handler. So the handler has an instance of the logger already created. So you just need to use it. So kind of like if you have access to the handler, you do handler.log.error or info, whatever kind of log you want to use. So basically just use that centrally defined instance of the logger and just use that rather than creating your own loggers or just using loggers or FMT anyway, but just like that one thing. So basically we need to eradicate all kinds of loggings and just use the Meshkit logger. I think Man, you had a question, so that is it clear now?
Yes, and I would like to like work on it too.
And that's great. I think there might be an issue already open. You can get assigned there, and yeah, you can start working on this one. Yeah, that's
Okay.
great. So your name is written there.
Is it something that can be handled by someone with one issue, or is multiple people looking into it?
Yeah, like ideally, like multiple people can work on it. You just need to kind of divide the work. Otherwise, you would just kind of override. So yeah, if you like, because like even Meshery is decently sized, it's simple, but it's decently sized. So maybe yeah, like if you're two contributing and like divide the project into two, like some might do the package, some might do the command line. So, but yeah, absolutely, both can work on it, and it would be faster.
Okay, I can absolutely help. That sounds very simple.
Yeah. So to Yelson's point, or to what Abid had just said, one of the ways to sort of divide and conquer is to or to collaborate without stepping on toes, like whatever metaphor you want to use, I guess, is one way of looking at it is here's a list of many of the commands. Some of these commands, like Meshery CTL system, has any number of subcommands. Meshery CTL system log in and log out, and like so. Anyway, the nice thing about the CLI is it's pretty clean in terms of like one file, almost mostly like one file per command or per subcommand. So to Yeltsin's point, like it kind of easy to say, hey, I'll grab this folder or I'll grab these 5 files or fine, just I'll grab this command, and irrespective of how many files and folders it covers. So that makes sense to me. All right, good. Well, hey, I'm glad that we took an extra moment to review, because now we've got Yeltsin, Yeslin.
And I think it's Yeltsin.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. That's hard to get right. Just for context, it's after the Russian President Boris Yeltsin.
Oh, okay.
My dad just
Thanks.
took out the T.
All right. Thank you, Boris. Just kidding. Just kidding. You didn't say that. But yeah, that really helps, because yeah, I've certainly heard that name before. Yeltsin. Yeltsin. There's not a okay. Anyway, I'll practice.
Yeah, it's confusing.
Awesome. All right. Hey, next up is I think Mohammed had a topic on. Oh boy. Oh, this is kind of a complex topic. So this is a good one to spend some time on, I suppose. And is Hamza here? I don't think he is. We probably.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Well, hey, maybe if it's all right with you guys, I see my name's here as well. Maybe we'll come back to this. I have a tendency to like over-explain stuff and take the entire meeting to just. Well, maybe we'll circle back, and so.
Yeah.
Actually, so Marcus, he's not here either. And I wonder, Abid, I wonder if this is something you might like to cover, or if this is.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So it's the over testing, yeah. Yeah, I think it's pretty much related to the above one also.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So recently from Marcus and Hamza, and some other people, I think Lee also and me also, we were kind of majorly focusing on the testing, and there are different aspects of testing. We have end-to-end tests, we have UI tests, we have tests for Meshery CTL, and one of the places where tests were kind of completely lacking were the OPA and Rego side. So we use OPA and Rego for the evaluation of policies for our relationships. So relationships are kind of a pretty much important part of Meshery. They help you to kind of add intelligence to your infrastructure. So if you have some Helm chart, you drop it in Meshery, then you would automatically start seeing some edges, some components getting automatically created, and some extra validation happening. So all of those things are possible using the relationships, and as part of that, there is an evaluation engine inside Meshery that helps to kind of continuously evaluate your infrastructure and your designs and see what new relationships are there, which ones are not valid. So that evaluation engine is written in Rego, which is a policy definition language, and we were completely missing any unit tests there. So recently there has been effort in adding tests for OPA. So these tests for OPA are actually again written in Rego, so they are not written in Jest or some Go language. They are written in basically in Rego, and they are again evaluated using OPA. So right now we have a workflow that runs these tests, and these tests are defined inside the policies. So actually, sorry. So the location of policies is a bit weird right now. So if you go to mesh model / then the inside the Meshery core. Yeah, latest one. So yeah, you'll find the policies here. So actually, I think I'm wrong. The tests are in a separate place. But yeah, like these are the policies that get tested. So where you would see like there are 10, 12 different files, and like there are different kinds of policies. So some of those are broken down into these different files, and these tests are basically unit tests. So these take these individual rules that we have written and try to evaluate if they are doing their work properly. And then there is a workflow called rego lint and test that basically lints these rego files and does some auto formatting if possible, and then also test those unit tests. And after that's done, it basically comments the result to the PR that you made. So this is done on each PR, and also when you merge to the master, if you make a PR and make a change, that these tests will rerun and then they will report back in a comment. So right now actually this work is mostly done and the tests actually are working, and there are, I think right now 111 test cases that are written. So all of those seem to be working, but there seems to be a small, yeah, so this is the regular intent test. So this is the workflow that runs whenever you make any change. So there's a small issue, I think here, like it doesn't report and it kind of fails when there are like when the lint fails or when the formatting fails, it doesn't do the testing. So I think that might be changed. We might make the testing and linting kind of parallel things because they don't depend, and we might still want to get the result of the test. But that's kind of mostly it with this. So it basically follows the same structure that we have for other testing workflows, where you run on the PR, then basically report it back using a comment. So this is mostly with the Rego test. So any questions before I proceed?
Two comments. One is that it sounds like you just offered up an opportunity for someone to contribute. So to repeat that, this workflow would ideally be handle a lint failure a little more gracefully. It wouldn't just exit out. Okay. Got it. And then the second comment was just, you might have seen it already, but back in the code base, in the folder that you were in, the directory that you're in, there was one other folder, the tests folder right at the top. And it's kind of hidden over there. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so these are the tests. So all of new tests will be also written to here, that if we make any change to the policy, so we have to account for the tests, and if a new policy is added, then we'd also add new tests here. And for about like the thing that Hamza was working on, it was like he had added some extensive tests for like these would be like, yeah, these would be more like integration tests, because it's like testing the scenarios around namespaces more like in perspective of design. So rather than testing small functions, we are kind of creating these design fixtures here and trying to evaluate the response of it. So there was a bug in Mesh's evaluation engine, basically like where you would, if you had a namespace, it would allow a different namespace to be a child of it, which is not valid. So this was kind of, as we were making fixes to that bug, we also added the test to kind of make sure that doesn't happen again, and also we test the scenario properly. So this is the test. I've not seen how this test runs and what's the result properly myself yet, but this mostly test, and like this is kind of the, I would say like this is because this is an integration test. This can be actually replicated from other policies also, because it's basically taking the design and then having some assertions on that. So if we want some different scenarios, like for different relationships or policies, like how the network policies are working or how a firewall policy is working, we can kind of replicate this test case there or make this a bit generic, but whatever. But yeah, we can use the same strategy for more integration tests. And there are like, this is kind of the integration test directly focused on this Rego part. Then there are also other relationship integration tests which are kind of a bit higher level, which directly talk from the Mesh's perspective. So they take a design and then call Meshery to kind of make evaluation on it and then see if the result is correct. So those tests are located inside, actually they are like located right now inside the end-to-end tests folder, and they are run using Playwright right now. But yeah, basically they directly call the API rather and then directly using the testing against OPA. So it's a bit on higher level and test other integration that we have basically test the integration that we have around OPA, because we don't directly call OPA. It's like we first call the Golang, and then Golang has the OPA initiated inside it. Then it does something like massage the data, then calls OPA, and then also massage back the response. So that's needed to have a bit high level end-to-end test also. So that's the relationship evaluation. But yeah, this test is actually kind of similar to the one that we saw in the OPA. So it takes the design and basically just evaluates it. So it's pretty simple because it's high level, so it doesn't need to do much. So yeah, these are also like directly taken from catalog, these designs, so we don't need to like define them locally. So we have some of the like first class designs in the catalog that we also want to test. So this does both things. It tests that the designs in catalog are valid, and also tests the if relationships are working properly. So yeah, any questions?
So I have a question. So this list of basically test fixtures, I suppose, this
Yeah.
list of Meshery designs. That's wonderful. That like, so this is a way, in some respects, of helping ensure that the quality of the designs that are published in the Meshery catalog remain high quality because they're being tested frequently. Granted, there's I don't know, about 250 designs in the catalog right now, but
Yeah.
it is, I guess, so here's my question is does this test framework also allow for local test fixtures to be included? Like, do they all have to be inside the catalog, or can you supply?
Actually, right now, I think this doesn't work with local ones because we just expect the ID. But yeah, actually, I think up in before like the latest change here, we were actually using the local fixture. So yeah, that's completely possible. So because we just make a request to the catalog to get the design, then work on that. So yeah, that's possible. Like we just need some small changes here if we want that. But yeah, that is possible. It doesn't hinder us from anything else because we just expect on the design. So yeah, that's possible, but not right now. I think we need some small changes.
Yeah. Whoa. Did you just offer up another opportunity for
Yeah.
contribution?
So yeah, there's that opportunity to make this a bit more generic to support both UUID designs from like fetching remote designs and taking local designs. So yeah, if you like probably go back a bit history, you'll find that code already. So you just need to copy that back and add a bit of conditional logic to switch on the different cases.
There were 4 people that raised their hand to help with on this very workflow or in this very, and so of those 4 people, now is your time to ask a question if you have a question, if you're intending to contribute there. One, you should open an issue to make sure that like we don't, that opportunity doesn't get lost. And 2, if you have any questions, now's the time.
Hey Avid, can you explain the Regolint and test workflow again and why was it failing?
No, you're gonna have to go back and watch it, dude. It's just not. I know I just asked Ranak, but you're just asking him to repeat everything he just said earlier. It's like, and you should go back and watch the recording. Yeah, that's not fair to everyone else on the call,
All right.
right? There's no specific question as to like I didn't listen to or hear what you said. Can you repeat the whole thing? That's what you just asked. Am I wrong, or is that what you asked?
Yeah, I'll just go watch the recording.
Okay, but if you have if you have something specific, ask. Like anybody should ask. I'm just saying it's not fair to have like.
Yeah. For the Ronak's question, yeah, I think he would get the answer if you go back a bit in the recording. Yeah. So, anybody else have any questions?
By the way, Yash and Himani and Suhani and Mr. Dua, if you guys don't have questions, I will bet that you're not going to be successful in contributing in the thing that you just volunteered on. Which means if you're not, then just so you know, I just like over time, from my part of the people that I invest into and answer questions of and assist, this is just for my part. Your name goes on my mental list of like it's not worth it because they keep volunteering but not accomplishing it. So I'm encouraging you, like, ask the question if you have one.
Abid, I had a generic query. Basically, the Rego policies folder, right? In the source folder, we have a lot of Rego policies, right? For each one policy, like we intend to put one test corresponding to it. That's a plan going forward, right? And will
Yeah.
there be any cases that you can't write a UT around any of these policies, or like any restrictions on validating things, or like every Rego policy should have a UT corresponding to it eventually?
Actually, yeah. Do you mean like a utility?
Or unit test.
Okay,
Unit
okay,
test.
unit test. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's a good suggestion. Yeah, like each of the policies should have a kind of a unit test attached to it. So I think that's what we are trying to approach. So like all cases get validated. So yeah, that's a good. So we would want that. Yeah, like to have each policies to be tested. So yeah, because like there are like these standalone policies, and then there are also like the utilities that we use, like that are reused by all of these policies. So because I think right now most of those are also getting tested, and then yeah, we'd also want all of the policies to be tested, and then also like kind of have a kind of an integration test to see if those things work end to end, and like when different relationships are mixed, does the policies work in that way? Because like kind of different kinds of relationships are handled by different policies, so we'd also want to do that. Yeah, like we'd want to have kind of like 100% unit test coverage and then also integration test. So yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, like yeah, kind of the basic rule that you said, like that for each policy to have a unit test that's clear. So that would kind of help to know if the policy is being tested.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I like with the code coverage. I think maybe the OPA testing that we use, it would have some coverage flags probably. I've not seen, but yeah, I think it would have some. Might use them.
In the past, Meshery has used CodeCov as a GitHub app, and CodeCov would respond with a comment on PRs, highlighting whether or not the code that was just added had any tests, was covered by tests, but it would also, I think, give just a high level overview of the percentage of code coverage for Meshery. That might be something that we would want to. So there's actually been a lot of, in a very good way, we've been talking over the last few months about how Meshery is inching towards its 1.0 release. And part of having a 1.0 is like signaling that, things are solid. And so quality and a focus on quality makes a lot of sense. There's been a lot of test case writing actually recently. There's been refactoring of the frameworks that we've been using. So Abid, you just covered part of that refactoring.
Yeah.
Now we're covering brand new test suite for Rego, for the evaluation engine inside of Meshery. It was super important. And we've been expanding the existing Golang unit and integration tests.
Yeah.
Some of the results of the tests are in the past have been, and some of those are now being centrally published into Meshery docs. There's like a couple of pages in there that highlight. Anyway, the notion of a coverage report doesn't have to like. I mean, it can be super detailed, and if you run Go test, as an example, Go test coverage, or I don't know what it is, but you'll get a report there, and it's actually almost too detailed, because in some respects we just need to know like what percentage are we at the moment, and then which areas of code need to be covered. But
Actually, I like regards the publishing of tests and like the entrant test. So this was failing recently. There were some issues with the authentication, so those are fixed. And then there were some issues with the, like, it was taking too much space and then it would fail often. So I think now it's works. So I think I made some last minute change with reducing the, like, we are just using the Chromium browser for testing, but we're installing like all 15 versions of the browser, so that was taking too much time. And we were also installing like different JavaScript package that we don't need, so I reduced that also, and now it seems to work. But I will see like if it will again fail sometimes, but yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, I think it started to work now, and I also enhanced the report a bit. Like previously, it would only report the failed one, so you wouldn't know like what's working. So now I'm also reporting the working test, and then basically sorting it by the provider. So first it will list, like, it's not like it's just alphabetically listing the providers and the tests that are run against that provider. So they are like combining the non-provider with like basically running a local provider and then one of the remote providers. So right now there are like 110 tests that we run. And I also, like, I think this has some formatting issues, so this was supposed to be in a summary, but I think it's just directly putting them, but like basically the kind of the response of the error. So because sometimes it's easier to know why it's failing, so it would publish that also here, but yeah, it should be summarized. And then there are also the relationship tests that we mentioned, so this would help you know which relationships are working. So I think we see like most of them are working except these two, the permission relationships, so these don't work properly, so it gets reported here. And yeah, I think at this page needs a bit of formatting work, but yeah, this is kind of the report for the end-to-end test. So I'm not sure, maybe we'd make this a bit generic and call it test report and then report all three, like because we have some new integration tests now with Rego and probably the Golang test. So maybe we'd report them here or maybe have a separate page for them. But yeah, like in the similar manner, we would want to have them also reported, because we are already generating the HTML and everything and putting them back in the comment. So this basically this is the same thing here. Rather than after putting in the comment, we also publish it to this file inside the docs and then shows up here. So this is if you sometimes have any issues, you can kind of go to here. I think the location is a bit weird, but you can check here to know if the issue is with just your build or is a general issue on the latest master. Yeah, I think that was mostly it.
Cool. Comments and questions? And Ronak, you are welcome to ask more questions. It's just that one was going to take like 10 minutes or so to answer, and it was anyway. Abid, you're full of gifts at the end of the year because I think you just said those pages also need some refactoring.
Formatting, yeah.
Like actually, I looked for them yesterday, and I had to
Mm.
search in the docs. I typed in like
Yeah.
test status and stuff in the. I had to search for them. It wasn't obvious where they were, and
Yeah.
moreover,
Let
they
me show
are.
the place. Yeah, actually, I think it's a bit weird. So like the page is like the page that I was on the E2 status page, that's like directly from the Meshery docs, but like how the test report is generated and formatted, it's that code is actually not in docs, that's inside the test slash. Yeah, so here, so this is kind of the template that's used because the tests are run and the output comes from Playwright. So we use this reporter to generate the summary. So yeah, so this, like if you want to make any change, so more probably you would be making change in this reporter summary.md. So this is the basically template that generates that report and then that gets published to different places. So yeah, this is kind of similar to the
Okay.
Jekyll, but a bit different. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, good. I don't know if there's good. We do need it rewritten. I mean, we do need it. Yash, Mahako, do you want to talk about this topic? we'll give Yash okay, there he is. He is responding. Yep. Yash, so I don't know if you've been on one of these meetings before, Yash, but if you would, you'll want to, if you've got a pull request, which I think you do, you want to share your screen and talk about why it is that you think that the pull request should be merged or not merged, or considerations that need to be made, or whatever. Yeah, we can't hear you either, but we can see your screen, so that's good.
We can't hear you yet.
Darn you, Zoom. What's wrong with you, Zoom? Yeah. So I wasn't speaking over Yash earlier. I just couldn't hear him. So
Yeah.
that's good. Yash, we'll de-stress you for a moment and we'll move on to another agenda item, give you a little bit of time to try to work on audio and the microphone. Now I still can't hear you. I can see your lips moving though. Sort of like what I wish I had for my wife sometimes. It's just like, okay, good. Anyway, take your time. We will circle right back to you.
Yeah.
And we'll go, next up is Himani.
Hi.
Himani, right.
I actually will keep it short because I think you can hear music in my background. It's like a huge party downstairs. So,
Nice. There are
like,
fireworks being lit off downstairs. And
yeah, they're like shouting and everything.
no, no.
So, sorry if you guys can hear it and anything.
Actually, I think there's not much noise though. Yeah, your microphone is doing a good job.
There's like a sudden burst of it.
Oh,
Okay, so let me just share my screen. So this is the second tutorial I was working on. Actually, the story of it is like I was reading about this deployment strategy, so I wondered why not make it a tutorial so other people can also learn from it. And I actually had really fun using Meshery Playground to like deploy it and stuff. So this is the preview. And I basically I showed up traffic split between two of the versions of a deployment, and there's basically an ingress which splits traffic to a primary version of an app and a canary version of the same app. So yeah, you can see like it's like everything I have put in. So you guys can try it and let me know if it's working for you guys as well.
jeez. Are you going to put an advanced label on this thing? Because this is kind of an advanced topic. This is great.
Yeah, this is like an advanced topic or intermediate, but this one, the previous one, it was like a beginner's topic. I think I have put a label here. Like you have to be familiar with basic knowledge of things like pods and deployments and services.
There is an opportunity that and we're just talking about all kinds of opportunities today. There's another opportunity within what you have here, and that is that, man, for a long time, one of Meshery's most popular features was load generation. So the generation of like HTTP traffic in this case, against any endpoint and so it's a perfect opportunity for you to use Meshery instead of curl or whatever you're using to use.
Curl I'm using.
Yeah. And instead of like scripting over curl calls, or, like, are you invoking curl a bunch of times to generate traffic?
Yes.
There's a built-in load generator in Meshery to do just that. And so that's a beautiful, it's technically illegal for you to suggest that someone uses a different load generator. I'm making a joke, a bad joke, but yeah, if you could think about it, give it a shot. And you can do this in the playground as well, to go to the performance area of Meshery, and you'll more or less fill in the same information, like the same flags and parameters that you used for curl. You actually, if you go there real quick right now, it's probably helpful to everybody just to see it. I don't know how many people. If you happen to be signed into the playground, maybe you could
Uh,
navigate.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could, or yeah, if you want to. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. And as it turns out, on canvas.new, it it
I basically also have I published a design too, so it's
Nice.
easier. Yeah.
oh, that's awesome.
Abid gave me the suggestion last time.
Oh, that is wonderful. I'm trying to. Does anybody else want to share the playground and show the performance profile?
Yeah. Okay, so inside the Meshery playground, so yeah, like inside Canvas, like Canvas has just that one extension loaded, so you won't be able to see some of the additional areas. So if you go to the playground or Meshery.io, or if you are running Meshery locally, you would find a special section for performance. So this is the place from where you can run the different performance tests and save them, and then kind of have manage profiles. So these are kind of like reusable tests. So okay, I think if I go to a performance profile, and I think sure why I don't have permissions inside this organization. I think this is. I think I don't have any permissions for this user. So let me try with my different account. But yeah, these are actually. I think I should have just done this. So like this is an example performance profile. So you can name your performance profile. So this is just a reusable name. So you might call it like if your service name and something else. So this is just a name to it, and here you can provide a URL. Like when you were doing the curl request, you had to put a URL. So this is kind of the same thing. And after that, these are like kind of things you won't be
I'm
directly be
sorry,
able to
but
do with.
Abid, are you sharing your screen?
Yeah, it is. It's coming through, but if you're like me, a lot of times Zoom just stays on all of the video shares, the people's webcams, and it doesn't. There's like a second tab. At least in my Zoom, I have to like navigate to the second
Yeah,
tab.
yeah. If you have a Zoom app, so you would get a tab somewhere up above with the name of the person who's sharing. Are you able to see now?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so this is the place where you can put the URL to the endpoint that you are testing. And after that, these are kind of the parameters specific to test, like how many concurrent requests you want to make, how much requests you want to make per second, and how, for the duration of time you want to run the test. So if do you want to send this load for 30 seconds, 1 minute, 1 hour, so whatever. And after that, there are some more advanced options like if you want to set some custom headers or some authentication cookies or a custom SSL certificate. So like if you want to do all of this from curl, it would take you would need to write a kind of a separate script, or you would need like a separate like load generator and configure that. So this makes that everything easier, and this is using an actual load generator like Fortio or WRK2 and Nighthawk. So these are like custom built load generators which send the traffic, so they're kind of built for this kind of thing. And yeah, but we basically doing just these like some few properties you can send load to your endpoints, and then you can save this and then reuse this thing. So if I save this profile, and it will basically inside this list you'll see your profile, and you can always run the test and see all the results. So if there were any results, they will show up here. So I think probably can show them from here. So yeah.
Cool. Good. I work.
Yeah, so this is the chart. You will see how your server is doing.
Yeah, so Hamani, there's other, you'll find in the docs, there are other examples, or there's the same thing
Yeah.
that Abid just said, that as it turns out, you can also invoke a performance test from Canvas, but you have to be in the operator mode. So,
Yeah.
and you get the same performance tests.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And this is kind of helpful. Like once you deploy your infrastructure, you can kind of directly view it inside the operator mode and then kind of interact with it, like generate traffic from this mode, the operator mode.
Yash, we're back to you with the provider UI, getting off of Babel, going to SWC.
Yeah, I hope you can hear me now.
Yep.
Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, can I share my screen?
Yeah, you
No.
don't need to ask for the permissions.
Yeah. All right. So, it's my first time being in Meshery's contributor list. So, it's my first try to solve the task. Actually, I have given a task to migrate provider UI from Babel to SWC. So actually, those who don't know, Babel and SWC are actually transpilers, compilers for the JavaScript and TypeScript. So we needed to move provider UI from Babel to SWC, Speedy Web Compiler. The reason why we actually wanted to switch them, because Babel is significantly slower than SWC. Like even we are talking like 20 to 17 times slower than what we call SWC. So that was the reason to do so. Actually, we are using Next.js 15, and it actually uses SWC by default. But according to philosophy of Next.js 15, it says if there is a Babel, it's for a reason, and that's why it gives precedence to the Babel over SWC. And we were not having any use of Babel as per mine. According to my knowledge, so we wanted to remove Babel, and we wanted to migrate provider UI to the SWC. So to do so, actually I made some changes. You can see here. So first of all, I removed the Babel parcel. So we have some presets like Babel presets, then Istanbul, then we were having some dev dependencies. So I started with removing those dependencies and all those things. So actually, why we have done these things for, as I have mentioned in the docs too, that it actually gives a 20 to 70% faster compilation compared to Babel, because it actually its name suggests that it's a speedy web compiler, and that was the reason we are gonna use that. It is built-in minification and optimization, so it is more optimized than Babel. Actually, Babel is a historical one. It is more stable, but for Next.js 15, it uses SWC by default, and you don't have to treat any other transforms other than custom transforms. So even we don't need SWCRC file. As I think Saurabh Srivastava asked me when I opened the PR. So he asked me why we don't have SWCRC file. So the reason behind that was, actually we don't have any custom transforms in the code. Whatever we have is presets and all those things. We have emotions too. Emotions means a preset in the code. So actually it is also SWC also provides out of box support for emotions too. So we don't need swcrc file, so I have removed the swcrc .swcrc completely. And because of the capability of SWC to work really well with those custom transforms too, we don't need that file to, and it actually minimizes the complications too. It actually helps to make builds faster and efficient than other like Babel. So that was the reason. Well, it was an outdated approach. We need to maintain some extra dependencies, like we had to maintain Babel specific dependencies too. So it's nice to use
So,
SWC instead of Babel. So the solution was we were having the .babel rc file before. So this was the Babel configuration file. Interestingly, it only had the next Babel preset, which I was talking before. As it was having just next Babel preset, there were no any custom transforms. That was the heart of discussion I had on my PR with the maintainers, because they asked me why we don't have any extra file like
Yeah,
.swcrc file to
that makes sense. Like
then
if the defaults are work, we don't
yes,
need a special configuration for. Yeah, this makes more sense. And because I think, yeah, we were not
yeah,
using anything special from Babel, so that also helps to make the
definitely,
migration easier. So yeah, I think, yeah, this is good. And
yes,
yeah, like if you are run the test and everything is working fine, we probably would merge this
yeah. I have
somewhere.
run the
I'm not asking like the saying like good work gets awarded by more work. So yeah, you might just like follow the same thing with Meshery, because that's pretty slow to build, and we might want to use SWC there. And I think it might be a bit more reliant on Babel and doing a bit more work, because the
yes,
provider UI is pretty simple. So yeah, like while
mm,
this PR gets reviewed and merged, you can kind of, you don't need to be blocked. You can work on the migration of Meshery to use this SWC.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
good.
Yeah,
yes,
Yash, we get
I
Yash.
also
Yash, I'm going to
Yeah,
interrupt just to
yes,
say, hey, we got to move on, man. This is great. This is a wonderful presentation. Thanks for this. I'm going to give the same feedback I gave before, which is we don't need the explanation about what SWC is and why it's better than Babel inside of our docs right here. So you can remove it. That's going to hold back your
yeah,
PR from being merged, actually.
okay.
Do you know, or does anyone else
Oh,
know who is working on this same migration for Meshery UI?
yeah, I know. I think they are Ansita. I think she has raised the PR, but it has failed some checks. It is in
I can
draft
like
right now.
help us reviewing. Yeah, you can review her PR, or maybe if she wants, you can like work together. But yeah, like don't stay blocked. Yeah, you can review. That's also a great way to contribute.
Wonderful. Great job, Yash. You're gonna have
Yeah,
this, sucker merged before the 2026, maybe. Just
it would be nice. Yeah.
yeah. All right. We're on to we are right towards the end. What do we have for next topics? Oh, we're at the end. All right. Charn, this is a really quick one, I think.
Yeah, actually, I just had a
I think
small
I will
doubt.
directly
Okay.
like answer this. So we want to use OpenAPI because it's the latest and has the
Yeah,
most
I was
features.
just
So this is
asking. So we can just generate the JSON schema from OpenAPI, right?
so we don't
Instead
need
of
to generate the
writing.
JSON from Open. We already have the OpenAPI. So that generates
Yeah, we
the
already have the
structure and
OpenAPI,
everything.
so we can just generate directly from that to JSON.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm confused at this point. What are you guys suggesting that is to be changed?
So actually, in schemas, there are two for every construct. There's a JSON schema and there's an OpenAPI.yml file. So basically, in OpenAPI, the JSON schema is also included in that. So instead of writing JSON and OpenAPI separately manually, we automate from OpenAPI the JSON schema files.
No, I think you are getting it wrong. So they're like the OpenAPI.yaml is kind of the actual schema file that we write, and then the other files that like the merge open API and other files, they are kind of auto-generated or just used inside the pipeline to kind of resolve the refs. And for other tools, so they are kind of just the generated files. So we only write the open API files, and the folder is basically we can like then break down the
Then
files.
what
We
about
don't
the
need to put.
.json file?
So this basically like it's the schema then like for a particular construct we're just broken it down. So rather than putting it inside the big file, we just put it in a separate file for like ease of use. But it's basically it's then again imported inside the OpenAPI.yaml. So like inside like JavaScript you have like index.ts and then you have different files and you import and export them. So it's basically the same thing, like we're just breaking down the files, but it gets imported back inside the OpenAPI.yaml, which acts as the index file, and then the things get generated. So yeah, like one thing we might do is like while we have dot JSON, we might convert them to YAML for consistency, but it's basically the same format. And we basically support OpenAPI and use that for tooling and everything. So yeah,
Okay.
if one thing you might be able to do from this thing is like convert those to YAML and basically then import those. Yeah, basically just convert JSON to YAML. You use some online tool to do that.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was asking. Okay.
Hey, Prachi, do you see my comments? Do you want to
Yes, I
speak?
do.
Okay.
I just want to know what does this actually needed? I mean, what fix does this issue needs? Because that's all I can see. The relationship selector was using the static regex pattern, which was only accepting patterns like v1.2.3. But you expected that a version greater than this should also work. So I changed the regex pattern and used it in the definitions of
Oh,
those versions.
oh, okay. Yeah, then my feedback is off. I didn't bother or didn't have the time just now to look at what the issue was about. Yeah, so
Yeah, I think I had reviewed it previously, like to not change the generic version schema, but a special one for the
Yes,
relationship process base. Yeah. Yeah, I think
I
you
added
did
to
that,
that.
so that's good. Yeah, I will take a final look and maybe we'll merge this one. So yeah, we would have a different schema for the relationships version because it's
And
different
yes,
thing.
I made those changes in code.json to OpenAI.yaml.
Yeah.
So is
Yeah,
that
nice.
correct?
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was mentioning. Yeah.
Thank you so much. That was my first PR though.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, okay, yeah, great. Yeah, I think yeah, this is good now.
yeah, it was okay. No, no, this is great. Hey, I'm sorry for the confusing feedback. I didn't realize the context. So I'm resolving these comments, and yeah, this is something for us to be aware of, that although the schema will now support this more robust expression,
Yeah.
the implementation probably needs to be up leveled
Yeah.
too. Why are my eyes playing a trick on me, Prachi, or do we not support less than? Or I wonder if we should support at the same time, like, does this
With
mean,
greater or greater than equal to.
okay, or less than or equal to, or like in between, a range from this one to this one, or I don't know. It's just like while we're giving consideration to it, does this, it'd be good to have a description that says like, if there's a specific one listed, that means only this one and just this one and nothing greater than or nothing less than, or like that just, yeah, does that make sense what I'm saying? If you want to respond to my verbal question, you have to take yourself off mute. Does that make sense what I'm saying, Prachi?
The regex pattern right now just resolves greater than or greater than equal to, not in between or less than that.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah.
But in the issue, that was the only thing that was needed. So
Okay. Good. I'm giving you some on the fly. I'm making an audible. You guys ever watch football, American football? An audible. like, which is just, I'm giving you feedback saying like, hey, while you're in here and you've got your brain attuned to this area, go ahead and flex it fully across like other potential use cases where a relationship may or may not be compatible with a lesser version number, or maybe there's a range by which it's compatible or something, or like maybe that's not applicable. My feedback isn't. That can be fine.
Okay,
You
I'll just
can,
look into it. I'll just look into it.
great. Are you going to also, so you're going to look at less than, greater than, and what else? Prachi, while we're having a conversation, unless people are screaming Happy New Year and kissing each other in the background, you should take yourself off mute so you can talk. What else are you going to look into other than less than and greater than?
I mean, I'll just go through the regex pattern and make it
No,
compatible for.
no, no. Okay, no. I mean, I gave you two other examples of things to look into. What were they? I gave it twice now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on. Prachi, do you know? Just say, I don't know. Or say you
Okay,
do. Oh, man. Prachi, what else are you going to examine other than less than and less than and equal to? You're going to look into a range and make sure that we are being descriptive and like explicit about what it means to list a single version. Does that implicitly suggest that all lesser versions are also compatible, or all greater versions, or is it just that specific one? And so we should articulate that explicitly. Does this make sense, or have I lost you? Prachi, remember that part that I said twice now? Like, if we're going to have a conversation, you should take yourself off mute. You're still on mute, so I feel like we're not having a conversation. I'm going to wish
if we
everyone
had a
I'm going
1.2.3,
to wish everyone a happy new year. We're at time. We're 10 minutes after. And so, hey, thanks for joining on New Year's. It's nice to see you all. And most of you had your video on too. That was really nice. And I learned how to pronounce, yes, of course, Yeltsin. Good. Hey, everybody, thanks for coming. Have a happy new year. And we'll see you next year. Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Happy